It's Tuesday night on a beautiful, beautiful May evening here. I'm Cody Carpentier, joined as always by Matty Kiwoom on Tuesday. You can see us live at the Executives of Fantasy Football YouTube channel Tuesday and Wednesday. Tonight, though, we appreciate the Player Profiler team for always hosting us on these beautiful Tuesday nights. Matty Kiwoom, Cody Carpentier. Tonight we're going to be talking all things league winners, baby. We don't always talk about fantasy generally on Tuesday night. Usually it's NFL based. Maybe Wednesday night's dynasty fantasy. Tuesday though, league winners, Matty. 6 league winners for the 2024 season. We're going to rip through them tonight. We're going to have a shorter episode. We're going to cut straight to the point, get you guys everything you need to know. But Matty, it's Tuesday night. You had a big work day. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling great, ready to talk league winners. And who doesn't love a nice league winner conversation in May?
All right, 6 of them. We'll start out first and foremost with your, I don't know, we'll call it third favorite or, 6th or whatever number you want to start with.
Yeah, we'll go backwards. We'll start at somebody we'll go lower down my rankings. We'll talk about my 3 league winners. And the first one, I'm going to start hot here. He's right now going anywhere from running back 30, 35, depends on what outlet you're looking. 144th overall at Player Profiler, Antonio Gibson, running back for the New England Patriots. And the reason why he's a league winner is because right now you can get him after pick 160. He's going right around pick 163. So in your redraft or your best ball, he's coming super cheap, and even in your dynasty formats, the acquisition price is quite low for a player that I think has standalone value and a tremendous upside in his new team. So whether he's just the third down back pass catching weapon in the New England Patriot backfield, well, we've seen him be a top 30 or a top even 20 running back on a points per game basis, basically with that role. But he also has upside that if they decide to give him the 51% snap share, at the running back position, because they did bring him in on a multi-year deal that was more lucrative than what Austin Eckler got, Gus Edwards got, Zach Moss got, and we're all excited about those 3 running backs. So we should also be excited about the projections and the prospect of Antonio Gibson being a good complementary piece in this backfield with tremendous upside if he was to become the primary back, because we've seen him now score double-digit touchdowns twice, and we've seen him go over 40 catches 3 out of his 4 years in the NFL. Still only 25 years old. This is a guy you can get after pick 160 or acquire pretty cheaply in your dynasty league. And I think by the end of the 24 season, you're going to be very happy that this guy was on your team.
There it is. I'm going to go to the receiver position, and I'm going to go wide receiver 67 right now over an underdog. I think he's going to get drafted a little bit higher than this. I like guys after 10th round. That's where I'm kind of having this conversation. And I love being in on Gibson, man. It's like, I feel like every single year we've been in on Gibson, and I'm going to
every year. I'm never going to quit.
Again, never going to quit. If you watch Kill Tony, reference right there. Ricky Pearsall, baby. San Francisco 49ers. This offense is going to be fantastic as it has been the last couple of years with Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy at the helm. Why I like Ricky Pearsall as a league winner is you're going to be able to get him late and 11th, 12th, 13th round. And in your seasonal leagues, when you're at home drafting, I think you're going to even get him later, 15, 16, especially if Brandon Ayuk gets that contract. And people are going to say, well, why are you still be in on Ricky Pearsall if Brandon Ayuk gets that contract? The point is that Ricky Pearsall isn't just going to eventually take away roles and targets from Ayuk and Debo because he's younger and more athletic. Truth. But also that wide receiver 3 spot that has been given to Juwan Jennings, to Danny Gray, to Ronnie Bell. No. That's Ricky Pearsall's spot, though. He's going to be the 3rd receiver. And I get they play a lot with George Kittle on the field. They like to put McCaffrey all over. But Ricky Pearsall puts himself into that conversation. And by the end of the season, you're going to start to see him have opportunities of 6, 7, 8 target games. And you might not be able to place them, but it's a guy that I want to have on my roster when the going gets tough in the late half of the year and Kittle potentially gets banged up and misses a game, or Debo misses a game. You're going to want Ricky Pearsall on one of your rosters if that potentially happens to one of these weapons in San Francisco.
First round draft capital. We can't forget that. Even if he's kind of fallen by the wayside in the rookie ranks, cannot forget the round one ups up in the round one draft capital. The next guy on my list going up is should I save this one? Yeah, I'm gonna save this one. And what you're gonna notice about me is I'm gonna be very running back dependent in this episode because I think a lot of league winners come from the running back position because they can come from way back in the and we're way back in the draft pool. But for this one, I will go wide receiver here. And the next league winner that I think or that I see happening this year is Jahan Dotson, wide receiver for the Washington Commanders. You can get him right now. His ADP is right around pick 126, 127. So we're looking after pick 125. In terms of a market price, he's going right now right around wide receiver 65. So again, acquirable in Dynasty and someone you could put in your back burner and kind of think about post pick 125 in your redraft leagues. But Jahan Dotson, again, you just talked about that Ricky Pearsall, the first round draft capital. Is another receiver who did see first half of the first round draft capital. He's taken 16th overall back in 2022. We like the speed, we like the size, and sometimes this type of receiver does take a little bit extra time to marinate. Think of a Tyler Lockett. It took Tyler Lockett 4 years to become a mainstay in our fantasy games, and he's still here. Jahan Dotson now has had over 500 yards each of the last 2 years. But the thing that I like about this player is ever since he came back from that initial injury, his rookie year, he's been pretty healthy. He's played 17 games last year, and he has 11 total touchdowns in his career. So this is a guy with a skill set that can get in the end zone. And now he's got a quarterback that can get him the rock. Jaden Daniels, we saw his ability to get multiple pass catchers really good volume. We saw Brian Thomas in League Neighbors. So Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson getting the rock is absolutely in the realm of possibility. And again, this is a player with capital, with pedigree, with a skill set that now that he has the right quarterback, the right coordinator, we're going to see a lot of hurry up. We're going to see a lot of fast-paced play with Kingsbury in this Washington offense. So I think right now a potential league winner at wide receiver is Jahan Dotson going into that third-year breakout.
I'm going to keep my receiver for last because I think I said receiver. I'm going to keep my running back for last because I love a multitude of them in the same area. So I'm going to go receiver again here. Receiver 34 right now, an underdog. This is a guy going earlier that you can draft and have on your roster, and I just don't think he's going quite high enough. We've seen the off-field question marks with Rashee Rice. Kelsey's he's not quite at the level he used to be at. He's aging. I think they're going to be smart with him as far as being healthy and on the field when it matters most. Xavier Worthy's a rookie. Hollywood Brown. We saw him courtside with Travis Kelce and Patty Mack. And Hollywood Brown's a really good receiver. Hollywood Brown's going off right now. Wide receiver 34, literally one spot ahead of Xavier Worthy. I think that makes right now Hollywood Brown a value and Xavier Worthy a bit overrated. And I love me some Xavier Worthy, but I just don't think that they should be close to each other at the certain point. I think that comes a lot from the rookie expectations and the rookie bump going through the rookie process. Over the course of the last 5 years, he's had over 100 targets 4 times. This rookie season, he only had 71. This is Hollywood Brown here. Only 1,000 yards once, but I think this is a season where he stays healthy. He hasn't had a healthy season since 2021 with Baltimore, where he played all 16 games. I think he's going to play a full season. It's hard to project injuries and stuff like that, but I think it's going to be a full season with Patty Mack, and you're going to see the best season we've seen yet from Hollywood Brown. That's going to pay off getting him here at wide receiver 34 after Terry McLaurin, after Jaden Reed, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, George Pickens, Tank Dell. I like him up to 8-9 spots ahead of where he's going right now, up into that Zay Flowers, T. Higgins conversation. Christian Kirk also. I like him all the way up into that conversation right now for Hollywood Brown in Kansas City.
Remember, they brought in Hollywood Brown way before they ever understood that they were going to get Xavier Worthy. I know they traded up for Xavier Worthy. They targeted Xavier Worthy, but they went out and got Hollywood Brown. It's totally separate when it comes to that position. So I like the call on Hollywood Brown. He's someone that I think in your redraft formats is going to be a player that we're going to be shocked. Like, man, did you realize that Hollywood Brown's had 22 targets over the last 2 weeks? Like, I think that is absolutely in the range of outcomes as this team looks to three-peat. The last guy on the list is somebody I think he's my favorite. Real quick, though, honorable mention is Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott needs to be on your radar. Okay, there's just we cannot believe that Rico Dowdle is just going to absolutely become the running back. The Dallas did nothing. This is a team that for my entire life has had a very good running back, from Emmitt Smith to Marion Barber to Zeke Elliott. They have always just ran the ball with very talented backs. And now they're just going to go in with Rico Dowdle as their guy. I don't think that's the case. I think in their eyes, Zeke still has enough juice for them to use him like he's still the Zeke of old. And he's coming off a year where he flashed tremendously as a New England Patriot. The year before that, he averaged 12.4 fantasy points per game for the Cowboys. He was a top 24 back on a points per game basis. This guy needs to be on your radar 100% in all formats. But the guy that I'm going to finish off the show with my list with, that I think is a bona fide league winner, is a player that I have been singing the praises of all offseason, and I'm not going to stop now, and that's Naji Harris. Take the discount of moving or the declining of the fifth-year option. Take that discount. He's still a first-round running back, and you're getting him now at pick 87. You're getting him into round 7 of startups. You're getting him into round 7 of your best ball underdog drafts. You're allowed to now build this way I'm going to say it, a motherfucker of a team, because you can go big time receivers, big time quarterbacks, big time tight ends, and then get what I believe is an easy RB1 in 2024, Naji Harris. You're already getting the best shape of his career narrative, but I don't really give a about that, because 6'1", 232, if he comes in 6'1", 225, 222, whatever, he's still a big running back who's run for 1,000 yards every single year as a professional. And last year was his least productive on a points per game basis in fantasy. He had 8 touchdowns. The 2 years previous, he had 10 each year. So I think we could see more touchdowns, more receptions. And Arthur Smith, for all the knocks that he gets as a head coach, and he deserves them, he was a fantastic offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans for fantasy purposes. They were top 10 in total offense, points scored, yards put up in each of his 2 years as offensive coordinator of the Titans. 2 of the best years you got out of Ryan Tannehill. Derrick Henry was one of the best running backs in football, and A.J. Brown was in top 10 wide receiver in fantasy. So I'm not saying that the Arthur Smith acquisition for the Steelers is a bad thing. It's a good thing, and especially for running back and a guy like Naji Harris. So Naji Harris, a guy you can get, like I said, in the 7th round of your underdog drafts, around pick 85 in your redrafts or your dynasty startups, and even if those are all passed and you're in your dynasty league, the price to acquire Naji is still quite low, as he's being valued on most platforms as a running back outside the top 25 in dynasty. So he's a buy all around, an acquire all around, and a league winner that I'm willing to put my flag on here in May.
I can't argue a lick about Naji Harris, man. This has been a thing where he's caught in some flack, and he's had 1,000 yards each of the last 3 years, and now he gets Arthur Smith, man. I don't see any issue other than it's the natural fatigue of certain players that the internet experiences, and you're seeing it here firsthand with Naji Harris. So I'm all in on Naji. I think Zeke's also a good point because of the age, more than anything, is everyone's just going to write him off as washed, which he might be, but you can still be washed and rush in 10 touchdowns. I'm going to finish it off here. We appreciate you guys for tapping in. Please click that like button. Please click subscribe. And remember to go over to the draftrankings.com. We appreciate you guys. Matty just uploaded his draft rankings trade chart for fantasy football, and he listed off his 3 guys: Antonio Gibson, Jahan Dotson, Zeke, and Naji. Jahan Dotson's on that list this week. Go figure out what you can trade to get Jahan Dotson, or what you can trade Jahan Dotson away for, if that behooves you as well. There's also 4 other names on that list. Every single Tuesday that comes out from our boy Matty Kiwoom. My final player, I had Ricky Pearsall, I had Hollywood Brown. My final player is 3 players because they all have the same ADP. They're all literally going back to back to back. And I have a hard time with this one every single time, Matty. This is in round 12, the 11-12 turn. Jalen Wright, Kendre Miller, Ty Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to give me the 112 in these underdog drafts and give me the 112 2-1 turn and just let me have the turn pick for the whole draft, I will rip receivers off like a Band-Aid. I tell you what. And then when I get to that round 11, 12, 13, 14, I'll just go running back, running back, running back, running back. You could hypothetically draft Kendre Miller, Jalen Wright in the 11-12 turn, and then the 13-14 turn, still get Antonio Gibson and whoever else. I love that. It may sound maniacal. It may sound stupid to be like, well, why would I do that? Because Ty Chandler is going to get opportunities, man. Aaron Jones is 30 years old in that Vikings offense. That Vikings offense is going to score points, whether you like J.J. McCarthy or not. And Ty Chandler, they showed us without spending draft capital or anything else outside of Aaron Jones that they like and depend on Ty Chandler. New Orleans, everything we've heard from Nick Underhill and everybody else down there in New Orleans, Nick Underhill is maybe the best beat reporter in the country, is that they want Kendre Miller to take over this backfield, to take over for Alvin Kamara. And Jalen Wright, do I really need to sell you on Jalen Wright? This might be the fucking league winner because of this offense. We've talked about it for 4 months, Matty. You had him as your top running back for a while. He has the lightning bolts on his hamstrings, and in this offense, that's all it takes. Mike McDaniel will create opportunities for you. So Jalen Wright, Kendre Miller, and Ty Chandler right there in the 11, 12, 13th round. I fucking love every single bit of these running backs. That is our list. I think we said 6, but I think we might have given you guys 9. We appreciate you. We love you. Make sure you come back tomorrow night on the Executives of Fantasy Football YouTube channel to hang out with Matty and Seth as they talk all things Dynasty. We appreciate you. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow night.